Greetings and welcome, everybody. We're on day 10 of the Lionsgate portal, August 4th. And today we're going to be talking about unity consciousness and how spirit brings us our next initiation to move through. Before we get into that, we want to share with you about this Lionsgate portal event, which is happening on August 8th. It is a global worldwide meditation event where really super high vibe, clear channel, in integrity, 100% in integrity light workers around the planet are going to be anchoring pillars of light in different time zones around the world throughout this day, August 8th. We're actually starting the ceremony on August 8th at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, which will be August 7th for a lot of us. It'll be August 7th at 4 p.m. here in New York, August 7th at 1 p.m. in California. So get in, register your link. You'll get all the times, all the Zoom links, and you'll also get the preparatory work about setting sacred space, creating your altar. A few meditations have been released so far. You'll be getting those. And you'll be able to come in live. And also, if you are wanting to listen to these recordings, if you don't have all the time on August 8th, it's all free. The more light workers like you that we have anchoring pillars in your homes, in your land, in your community, the more of us that we have, the more amplification of our dreaming, of our visioning, of our manifesting this new earth into being in our present day lives. So help us to shift the timelines to where it's already happening, where unity consciousness is already available, where people are already understanding our oneness with each other, with the earth, with the divine, and with everything that we desire to manifest in our lives. So share the registration link with your friends, invite people into this event. If you know anybody out in Hawaii that is a super clean, pristine light worker that would like to anchor a pillar in the Hawaii time zone, and maybe at 8 p.m. Hawaii time, that would be fantastic. So just reach out, drop a comment below with their name and or email address or whatever. And hopefully we can get someone out there in Hawaii to close the ceremony. It'd be great. Right now we are currently closing in California time zone. So what are we talking about? Unity consciousness and our spiritual initiations. So here's what has happened. And this has happened so many times in my life, I can't even count. When you set out upon your next initiation, when you set out upon your next area of growth, whether it be opening greater divine connection, greater experience and embodiment of self-love and compassion for others, or manifesting prosperity and financial foundation and stability and freedom in the physical world, any topic that you're bringing to the forefront of your mind and into your energy for the purpose of transformation, you're setting your focus on it. What happens each and every time you do this is you're bringing the light of your spirit and the light of your awareness onto that topic. And as you shine the light onto that topic, that area of energy, what happens is everything that's in the unconscious, in the shadow, in the dark, not yet in our awareness, anything that's in the shadow becomes illuminated by that light. And then spirit, our spirit, our higher self, our divine presence, who's in alignment with this growth that we are calling forth from within ourselves, that's actually being called forth by our higher self, right? Pulsed by our higher self and our divine presence brings the opposite. It brings the opposite. It brings the shadow. It brings the opposite vibration of whatever it is that you're calling forth to yourself. Now, I'm not saying that if you're calling forth financial prosperity that you are going to receive poverty. No. But in calling forth greater prosperity, the light will be shown, your spiritual light will be shown upon all of your consciousness that still vibrates, all of your consciousness that vibrates at the frequency of poverty, lack, scarcity, limitation. And it's not like spirit comes in and starts saying, oh, and you're holding this over here in the fourth dimension of your mind, and you're holding this over here in the third dimension of your heart, and this is in the background of your head, and this is in your genetics, and this. No, it doesn't happen like that. How it happens is spirit brings the people. Spirit brings the people in front of you that have something negative to say about you or about your growth or about your topic that you're in the process of transformation. So if it's prosperity, then then in my experience, what has happened when I've been focusing on prosperity is here comes some family members that have particular patterns of behavior around lack, scarcity, chasing money, going into debt, feeling as though they're not worthy of having money. So every time they get money, they send it back out. They feel that it's more valuable to give than receive. If you are giving more than you're receiving, you're depleting yourself. You're going into lack and scarcity mentality. So if you're giving, you become an empty shell. So there's no greater or less than in regards to giving and or receiving. But there's a certain mentality that it's better to give than receive. So this is what I'm talking about. Whatever your spirit is calling you to transform in your life, and you agree, you say, yes, okay, I'm going to spend some time focusing on that. Then once you're on board, spirit's going to say, okay, great. This is the banquet of experiences, beliefs, limitations, thought forms that need to be chewed on, digested, and transformed into another kind of energy. Recycled, reused, up-leveled, repurposed. Yeah. So it's ugly. It's an ugly phase. It's an ugly phase. And so it doesn't matter what the topic is. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I'm finding it kind of hilarious at this point that I have chosen the topic of unity consciousness for this dreaming into being the new earth. I haven't chosen it. It was downloaded, it dropped in. Okay. So I was like, what should I do, Spirit? There's a Lionsgate portal happening. Is there something I need to do here? And Spirit was like, yes, of course. That's why you're asking the question, because we are throwing this stuff at you. We're throwing these vibes at you. And so, okay, what is it that you want me to do here? Dreaming the new earth into being. Oh, okay. The new earth. What is the new earth? The new earth is essentially, okay, there's lots of perspectives on it, and we need your perspective, quite frankly. Drop it in the comments below. The new earth, in its foundational essence, is a world where the human consciousness has lifted into its conscious awareness of its oneness with Source, Divine, God, Beloved, with each other, each as individual representatives of the divine, expression of Source energy, Creator. All of life in its infinite expression of divine energy as plants and trees and insects and the biz. Our unity with our earth, our Mother Earth, and and her resources, her atmosphere, her land, her water, our oneness with the planet herself as a conscious being. So the new earth idea is that in its foundation. It's our mass consciousness understanding that we are all one. We are all one. We are all here together. And what affects one of us or affects some of us affects all of us. The Hoponopono Prayer. If you haven't yet heard about this, there was this guy out in California, I believe. He was a doctor, a psychologist. They hired him to work with the insane asylum, the criminally insane, as a psychologist and work on the patients. And these patients were murderers, rapists, killers, really big time, big time separation consciousness, violent expression. Yeah. And this dude, who I cannot remember his name because I'm just channeling this information right now. I didn't plan this conversation. The dude's name, I can't remember, but the dude went to work every day and he never saw a patient. He took their files and every day he would look at the file of the patient. He would recognize the inherent oneness of this madness the patient held. He would recognize it within his own being. He would find it within his own being. And he would work to heal the patient's madness that was a part of himself that was expressing through this individual that he also held resonance for. He would find it within himself, where it lay within himself. And he would begin to work on that with the Hoponopono Prayer. The Hoponopono Prayer is, in its essence, I'm sorry for my belief in separation. I'm sorry for my belief in separation. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. That is the Hoponopono Prayer. And that is what this dude did. And after a very short period of time, all of the patients in this institution were cured and the institution closed its doors. Our oneness is what we're talking about. This guy recognized that the insanity and the violence and the consciousness of separation that was being expressed in his reality, in the outside world, was sourcing from within himself, or was existing within himself, unhealed parts of his being that were reflecting through these other individuals, but it was also within him. And so he didn't talk to any of them. He didn't see any of them. He didn't work with any of them face to face. They were criminally insane. They were very, very violent. He worked with them in his heart. He held them in his awareness while he healed the part of himself. He had to dig deep. He healed the part of himself that held the qualities that these patients were expressing. We as a society have been trained to imagine that we are separate beings, that we exist inside of these meat suits, that the skin around our body is our container. This is where we begin and end, inside of the skin. It's false. It's a false concept. Our energy body, our light body is so much bigger, so much broader, so much more powerful, so much more infinite. Our consciousness exists outside of this physical body. Our consciousness exists, our greater consciousness, our higher self exists beyond our temporary residence of our single pointed awareness in our physical bodies. We are so much bigger, and we are so much more powerful and so much more expansive and so much more creative than we have ever been led to believe. And so as we begin this journey into healing the parts of our being that are residing, the parts of our consciousness that are residing in a state of separation, soul retrieval work, soul aspect work, bringing them back into our heart through forgiveness. There's lots of ways, there's lots of tools. But we do it firstly within our own being. We see our oneness. We heal the parts of our being that are expressing in separation. And we work to heal those. And the universe, the God source, divine energy, creative field of life experience reflects back to us through outside people, outside individuals coming into our experience, saying things, doing things, behaving in ways that magnify, amplify the hurt places within us, or the higher spiritual reason of bringing those places that are hurt within us back into our heart, back into their oneness with Source, back into wholeness within our being. And as we each take this on as our own path of healing, empowerment, expansion, initiation, as we do this within ourselves, we can also start to do this for the collective. And that is what this Lionsgate portal is all about. This Lionsgate portal event is coming together, holding a single focus of unity consciousness for all. And I was shown in a dream vision many years ago that it is very possible that it can happen like that it can happen just like that. That the fear grids, the control grids, the greed grids, the matrix of fear that's plugged into the mass consciousness can be disengaged just like that. And it would be like, and it was shown to me, it would be like people waking up from a dream. Like they had been hypnotized. And now they see clearly. They see the divine light within themselves, the divine light within others. They see the consequences of their actions, the karma returning, the karma returning. I saw this great little sandwich board last weekend. I was in Kingston, and it said, evolve or repeat. It was just written on a sandwich board outside of this Zephyr float. Yeah, it was fun. Anyway, so we're talking about spiritual initiation. So I have begun this spiritual initiation holding group container for unity consciousness, new earth awakening. And what has been coming into my field is so much, and it was there already, right? But it's like it's coming in, this separation consciousness is coming in, this divisive consciousness is coming in. Um, Trolls are coming in to demonstrate where in my own being I am still holding separation consciousness. And I'll tell you, I have a lot of it. It's still there. There's tons of it. Um, it's a work in process. It's a journey, right? We give ourselves grace to move through these lessons with grace, with ease, and to bring ourselves back into wholeness. It's a lifetime or many lifetime journey of process. It can happen just like that. It can, and it should, and it will, and it may. However, as we're on the journey, as we're in the journey, here's another thing to love. Here's another thing to forgive. Here's another thing to pray for. Here's another thing to transform. Since you're doing it anyway, how about you look at this? How about you look at this? How about you look at this? And so the universe is constantly giving us the mirrors of the opposite energy that we want, because the opposite energy still exists within our energy field. It needs to be seen. It needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be loved. It needs to be forgiven. And it needs to be embraced. And that is part of the journey of transformation. And so thank you very much for listening. Join our Lions portal. Share our registration link with everybody, because the more people anchoring this light on earth, this love on earth, we can make great strides in this wave of ascension. We give thanks to the energies of Sirius and this opportunity to partake in the Lions portal in a big way.